Shasti Conrad is the chair of the Washington State Democratic Party. She joins us now. Shasti, thanks so much for being with King 5.
Thanks for having me, Joyce.
So as you know, we're less than 30 days now until the election. Vice presidential candidate Tim Walz came to Seattle for an October 8th campaign reception and fundraiser. What are your thoughts about his high-profile stop here in the Evergreen State?
Well, I always love when we get the attention here in Washington State, and it was so exciting to have him here and to have the energy around him. He's such a kind, exciting, generous guy, and I think it shows that, Washington State's on the map, and they knew that it was important to come here.
Let's talk about the governor's race. Democrat Bob Ferguson squaring off against Republican Dave Reichert. In your opinion, how's this race shaping up with just a few weeks to go?
I think we're feeling strong. We're feeling really great. We're so proud of the showing that Attorney General Bob Ferguson had in the primary. And, I think we are just really feeling great about this race. But we do know that every time it's been an open seat that these races come close. And so we don't want to take anything for granted. But, again, I feel like Bob Ferguson is making the rounds. He's gotten to every single part of the state. And, Dave Reichert just continues to lie and say one thing in private rooms and say something different in public. And, we just need to make sure that folks are getting to hear the real truth and pick a champion like they have in Attorney General Bob Ferguson.
He has said some of his things have been taken out of context. I do want to say that it's important to note Dave Reichert served as King County Sheriff and has said that public safety is a top priority. He wants to reduce crime to make sure that police departments are fully funded and staffed. Can Bob Ferguson compete on this issue against Reichert?
Absolutely. Bob put out a really comprehensive public safety plan months ago, even before Reichert put out anything, worked closely and has been supported by sheriffs and police officers across the state. I think we all know that it's incredibly important that people feel safe in their communities, and that's a value that all Washingtonians have. And I certainly know that Bob has done the work, certainly as Attorney General, in the community to feel that he can lead folks in that way.
I want to ask you a question about the statewide initiatives on the ballot, including Initiative 2117, which would repeal the Climate Commitment Act. Is your organization advocating a choice on this measure?
Yes, we feel very strongly that we need all of Washingtonians to vote no on all four of the initiatives. Really, this is the Republicans pushing a way to get a tax cut for their friends, for the wealthy friends. It's being pushed by corporate lobbyists, and it's really about taking us backwards. We as Democrats believe that, we've been able to pass some landmark legislation these last couple of years, and it's backed by people and voters who pick their state legislators, and we want to make sure that we're standing up for keeping our air clean and our environment clean, and that's what the Climate Commitment Act is all about.
Let's talk about spending. Is the state Democratic Party helping to fund any state or local races?
Well, what we do is we raise the funds, and the money really goes into our organizing efforts. We have a coordinated campaign. We have over 30 organizers across Washington State, and we are running phone banks and canvases every single day. And so the money really is about going into the resources to make sure that we are providing the field support to get Democrats elected up and down the ballot in every part of this state. We certainly have priority districts like Congressional District number 3 with Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez, Kim Schreier in Congressional District 8, and then a couple of key state legislative races, and of course all of our statewides.
And what is the state Democratic Party's plan in the home stretch of the campaign leading up to Election Day and November 5th?
Well, in the illustrious words of our former First Lady, we are all about just do something. We really are about making sure that everybody who can get involved, that wants to get involved, has an outlet to do that. So like I said, we have phone banks and we have canvases. We're going to do a big statewide GOTV tour that's kicking off at the end of the month, where I and many of our electeds will be traveling across the state to meet all of our amazing voters and get people to really feel like they're a part of something. Just anything that you can do to help out in these last final 4 weeks is going to make a real difference.
Shasti Conrad, chair of the State Democratic Party, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.